Hello everybody, Steffi here from the Makerss. Welcome to our free needle felting tutorial, and today we're going to make a cute little blue tit, just like the ones that you currently see busily flying around outside because they are really busy getting food together for their youngs in their nests. And it is actually a new improved blue tit kit that we're bringing to you. So we've done the blue tit for some time, but as with everybody, I too learn, and I have actually advanced my felting skills and made a much more sophisticated, realistic little blue tit with the same ingredients. So it's a little bit extra added, but it's only one item that has been extra added into the mix. And these are the items that you get in our kit. So I'm going to take these bits away here. So you have your blue tit instructions, you get the legs, you get the glue-in eyes in here as well, you've got your wools that you need to make the body and colour it in, and then of course you also get your little eco wool felting mats, and you get a set of needles as well. So I'm not going to open these up because I'm using my own, but this is basically what you get in the kit. Not to forget that you get a little silk clay beak. Now we make these all by hand ourselves. We are not afraid to do any kind of extra work or the extra mile just to have it all right for you. So that is what you've got to look forward to today. Now I'm just going, because this is a live stream originally on Facebook, and today's the 6th of June 2023. I'm going to have a quick look who's actually joining us live today, and then I'm going to crack on with the task at hand. So we've got quite a few people who have joined us here. And these are namely Diane is there. Hello Diane, Carol, Sharon, Mel, Gina, Alex, who else? Sherry from Tennessee, Dawn. This is a different Dawn from the Dawn that we normally have, so that's lovely. See new people. It's always nice to see new people. Give us a wave, or let us know if you're here because you've bought the kit from Sewing Street not so long ago when I was on there. It's always nice to have new people joining us. Lily is there. I know Lily, you are also from the US. Can't quite remember where it was, but anyway. Sandra is there. Hello. Melissa, Katrina, Fiona, another Carol. Jane is there. Hi Jane. Maureen. DC, I don't know. I don't think we've had you before. Ellie is there, and many others are joining as I speak. The numbers are going up with people who are watching this live. So thank you very much, first of all, for joining me tonight. If you're watching this anytime on YouTube afterwards, give us the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on these exciting new tutorials that we're bringing to you every week basically, and many obviously are either full projects where you can felt along. You can pause me, of course, that's always possible, and then you can rewatch them anytime you want. Now I'm struggling with my sleeves here with my shirt, and that is because I've got long arms, so it's very rare that the top actually fits me in terms of the length of the arms. It must have been sort of a direct descendant from orangutan, but I'm just gonna turn them up so they don't flop around. Right, let's have a look overhead on the camera, and do tell us, what is your favorite bird? Tell us what is your favorite bird. It's always nice to keep the chat going, because we're not, this is obviously a blue tit, which is a European bird. I don't think that you get them in the States. I'd be interested, but maybe you have a similar bird that's related to this. So reminding you what you get in on our instructions, it basically tells you on the front all the things you need, what you make, what you could also have to help, what skill level it is, how big the shape the finished project is, and what the techniques are that you're actually using. Then, as always, we have step-by-step color instructions with very explicit and very detailed descriptions there as well, depending on how you learn. Everybody learns differently. Some of you are more visual learners, so you want to see the every step picture. Some of you want to read it, some of you want to read it out loud. Then we've got templates here on the back, and of course if you're somebody who needs to see it done in front of your eyes, that's why you're here tonight, if not just for the chat. So I'm going to try and follow the instructions as best as I can. As you know, with many makes, there are always different ways of getting to it. So first of all, this is a wool bat, B-A-T-T, that's what the wool type is called. And we love this particular for shaping 3D shapes, and it works so quickly. If you ever get tempted to buy a kit that has a polystyrene shape inside ready-made, don't do it. It's really not necessary, and you're just putting more plastic into the beautiful countryside. So it says in the instructions to take 3/4 and 1/4. Now that is not exactly precise rocket science, so you don't need to be very, you don't have to take a wisp off because you think that will make all the difference. Well, you can if you want, but it won't make a difference. So 1/3 I'm putting to one side, 2/3 I'm keeping here. And now I'm going to wind this. Ideally you have a sheet of about 8 centimeter width, which if you don't know what 8 centimeters are, we do have on every single page on the left hand side, we have the tape measure that will help you to measure anything that we put in our kits. And so you have a sheet of about 8 centimeter long, and you wide, and you can have it as long as you can stretch it. And then you begin winding in from one end to the other end, whilst you are tucking in the sides as you go. Now I often give this a tuck as well, because I want it to do as many layers as I can possibly tease out of this. And blue tits are really tiny, they really are tiny, so you don't need to worry about making it too small. I think if anything, we tend to make them too big. So I'm going all the way around until I get to my last wispy ends here, and then I'm going to take my medium felting needle, which I've got my own needles here, which is the orange top. That's the standard triangular medium felting needle, 38 in gauge, and I'm just going to close the shape. So now I can let go of it and it doesn't pop open anymore. Now I've got to start felting in the wispy ends all around, and I'm also starting to aim for a little, almost like a teardrop shape. So I want it to be round on this end and then slightly pointy here. So if this was a bit of clay, you would sort of want to mold it this way. But this is where you push the pressure, like here I'm pushing the pressure. This is where you stab the needle to achieve that exact shape. So I'm making a bit of a bird shape already by just using the wool and the shape it sort of naturally has become by me winding it up. I'm not too worried about any of the shaping at the moment. However, if you do want to, you can look at the basic body template, which is here on the last page of the instruction set, and getting to it. So this is sort of the basic body shape, which is what I'm aiming for, and I'm not too far out, so that's quite good to know that I'm definitely heading that way. It's at the moment quite loosely felted, and that's absolutely fine. So losing my pages now, here we go. So I'm just smoothing it out a little bit with the medium felting needle. I quite like holding the things that I'm stabbing in my hand like this, but if you do this at home, make sure that you are not stabbing accidentally into your hand. So it's always best to rest it on a felting mat if you're not entirely sure. I'm going to keep at that shape for now. That looks quite okay to me. So now I'm going to take from my 1/3 portion. I am going to use take 3/4. Sorry, I've got to read this. Some of the remaining quarter of white wool and make a much smaller ball shape. So I'm going to make a much smaller ball shape in exactly the same way as I've wound in the first one. So I'm making that nice and tight as well, wrapping the wool around itself and stabbing the last few wispy bits in. Do that all over. So I've got almost a complete round shape, but it doesn't matter if it's a little bit oval, because it's really hard to get a complete round shape by winding it in that way. So if you've got a slightly oval shape, don't worry too much. But of course, wherever you want the shape to shrink back, that's where you need to stab the needle. Now with a small shape like this, you definitely have to be careful with your fingers. So keep that needle away from the finger. Somebody, I don't usually use this, but somebody has said you can sometimes pin down the shape with one needle and stab it with the other. So if that is something that you you find easy to do, do it. There's no right or wrong way, whatever works for you. It's a bit like using chopsticks to eat. So this actually works quite well, I will be honest. So use a nice strong needle for the pinning down rather than a fine needle. So I've got a coarse needle here, and I'm using a medium needle to stab into it. Right, there's my little round shape, and now I'm going to put this onto the shape here. Now this will look all kinds but a blue tit. It will look like a duck. It might even take the shape of a sheep on, but I'm putting this on top of that, so diagonally on top of that shape that I've made, and I'm only stabbing into the edges of that ball. That's a bit contradictive, edges on a ball, but it's the sort of the bits that touch the main body. That's where I'm stabbing in, so I'm going straight into that extra shape and into the body all at the same time. So the wispy fibers that I catch with my needle from the smaller ball shape get pushed into the main body shape, so that it's secure, but it's not really felted on properly. So don't start thinking that this is it. This is not it. So it looks at the moment like this, it does look a bit like a duck, doesn't it? Floating along. If it was yellow, it would be a yellow duck. I'm going to have a quick check-in with the chat again here. See what your favorite birds are. Let's have a look, because there's no shortage of birds around at the moment. Caroline is watching, and she's watching with Susan. Hello. So we have got oh, there's more people. Yes, I am new to you, says DC Ryan, and want to learn felting. Love your kit. Oh, thank you. That's a lovely compliment. Thank you very much. We'll take them gladly. Thank you. Hummingbird, says Maureen. Her favourite bird is a hummingbird. Oh my goodness, tiny, tiny. Imagine I had to make one of those. I have the same problem with a long sleeve blouse, says Jane. What, you're a long-armed orangutan as well then? Oh, that's funny. I love corvids, especially ravens. Me too, Ellie. I love the ravens. There's something very magical, and I find them really comforting. My daughter said the other day she finds them slightly creepy, but maybe that's what I like about them, is that they seem like an ancient old wise bird. So yeah, I do love corvids, and we have them here, the ravens, and they're beautiful. Fiona says, I had a go at the blue tit a while back and it was catastrophic. Oh, bless you. I bet it wasn't that catastrophic. If you ever think you need to share any of your catastrophic makes in a totally safe place, then do come and join Everyone a Maker, our Facebook group. Nobody will ever judge you for what you're doing, and we will gladly give you loving advice. So that's all I can say. Everyone a Maker. I'm keeping a keen eye on there. I'm not having any nonsense, and none of you would do it anyway because you're all much too nice. Fiona says, I don't think it was a Makerss. It was the Makerss. Okay, well, that's reassuring. Just get a Makerss kit then. I love owls, says Sharon. I love owls as well. I love the magpie. We have them in our garden amongst many other birds. We hide food from them, and they have learned where we put it. So we hide food in other places, and it's lovely to watch them looking in different spots to find the food. That's such good exercise for their brains. Lorna says, nearly forgot, I've started to make a blue tit. Oh, excellent. I love the templates in the Makerss instructions. Thank you, Katrina. Colette has joined us. Hi, Colette. Karen says, hi, Steffi, a cute little blue tit. Katrina says, I made 2 blue tits from the Makerss kit and it was super easy. I only had trouble with the legs. Oh, I'm getting to the legs because we're all learning about these things. We've got, well, so there's so many of you making So Lorna has an older Blue Tit kit, no template, so making my own template. Ah, that's a good idea. We'll then make a goldfinch. Well, this is the thing. You can actually use a lot of these templates for other garden birds, because whilst they have sort of slightly different proportions sometimes, bigger eyes, smaller eyes, different positions, it's actually a really good base shape. So yes. So Sherry says, I just looked it up. The chickadee is also called the American tit. We also have a tufted titmouse. They are grey and are in between chickadee and cardinal in size. Ah, that's interesting. Love a robin and a hummingbird, says Jane, another Jane. And my favourite bird, so many to choose from, owls and birds of prey. My Blue Tit kit I got for Christmas last year doesn't have the template. I haven't started it yet. Oh, you'll be fine, Gina. Just watch what I'm doing. So, oh, lots and lots of comments. So I'm going to go back here to do a bit more work. Now, what was I going? I had a thought that came in my head and went straight out again. It might come back to me. I'm just going to put the little Blue Tit here. Oh yes, bird legs. We were talking about bird legs. Well, so I will go really in detail of how to insert the bird legs, and look how tiny they are compared to what they are like in the kit, because you can actually adjust them in size. You will need, to make it perfectly workable, you will need a little bit of tape, like masking tape works really well, or washi tape or something like that. So maybe you need to get that ready before you progress any further, or certainly at the very end. So I've also got my my magnetic needle holder there, so my needles are staying safe. They're not getting pushed away out of the way anywhere. I'm also going to put the eyes and the beaks on there, or the beak on there already, so that I know where they are. There we go. They're upside down, so they're perfect to oh, you can't see, they're actually sticking up, so they're perfect to grip. So that's amazing. I know that is also magnetic on there. Right, so let's continue. So from the leftover white wool, you're going to take sort of a pinch to make a sheet that now fits over the head and the body partially anyway. And just as you're smoothing that out, look, you can see the bird literally, it's just there. Can you see? The bird is just there. So what you need to do now is make sure that that sheet, obviously the head doesn't poke through it, and you're going to fasten that sheet on the back of the body first. So you're felting the ends down first before you go anywhere near the head and making it fit the rest of the bird. So it's really important that that sheet is smoothed over nice and taut, so that when you pull it tight, it makes that bird shape perfectly. Now, if you've got a lot of wispy ends sticking out, like I have here, just tease them off. You don't need the extra bits. And if this happens to you, where my head has popped out a little bit, just take a bit extra wool, put it over the shape, and you're covering that up again. You can do this now, or you can wait until you felted it all down and then check if you need to add another layer. So we're not actually adding bulk. What we're doing is we're just adding a layer that will join the two shapes properly together without leaving a join. So whereas the head before looked like it was felted on or fastened on, this way we're going to make the shapes integral to each other, so they become one big shape again. And when you get near the head, try and stab at a shallow angle from the head down, so that you are not making that neckline too prominent again. So that is the trick about not getting that shape too much looking like it did earlier, by just stabbing at a shallow angle. So you're fastening the wool on, but you're not following the line too much that there was that was there earlier. And just felt it all nice and smooth, so that you've got a nice felted compact shape all the way, with these wispy bits that are still sticking out here at the end. You don't need to felt a tail onto the Blue Tit at this point, because it's going to be a separate shape, so just ignore that part altogether. And Just felt that down. So a lot of the shaping still takes place as you're adding the colors over the top. So even if your blue tit is a little bit on the larger side, don't worry too much about it, not right now. And just felt it down with your medium needle. I've just pushed the head down a little bit because you can have the head sort of more distinct, or it can be more part of the body. It depends what position the bird has got. So yeah, that's it. They all have different positions. I've done a few now, and this one has got the head sort of sticking up a bit more. This one is a little bit more tucked in the head. So there are different ways of how you can do this. I'll leave that bird sitting here as well, so you can see what the shape is that I'm aiming for. Right. So once you've done this, I'm still not happy with it. There's a bit of head showing here, so I'm even adding another little bit of wool over the top there. So it was here, stroke it over, make it sort of flat against the body, and then felt it into place so that you don't see the separateness of the head anymore. That's it. It is such a lovely time of the year to see so many new fledglings and birds busy every morning, and it's literally at 4 o'clock. It's like a whole chorus gets switched on. Certainly in the UK, British summertime, it feels like somebody's telling them, right, you can all start up now, and they all start their chorus of the day, making lots and lots of singing noises. Some are nicer, some are not so nice. Oh yes, that's what I was going to say about the magpies. So magpies, I never had any opinion about magpies. I quite like magpies because I'm a bit like a magpie. I like shiny things. But then some of my colleagues have said, oh, when you see one magpie, you've got to see 2, and if you see 2, you've got to see 3, because there's a saying. And suddenly I thought, I don't want to see any magpies anymore, because some mean, if you only see 1, I think it means something horrible. I actually can't remember what it says, but it's made me a little bit wary of magpies, where before I didn't care how many I saw. I was just enjoying that I saw them. So yes, so maybe somebody can enlighten us what that is all about. And the other thing, when somebody mentioned earlier that birds are so clever finding out how to do things, I had to stop at a service station a little while ago when I went to Sewing Street, and it was quite early in the morning, so there weren't many people about, and the car park was quite empty, and there were some seagulls out and about, and they were literally flying inside a bin to pick out any food bits that were left in there. And then they were and that's what astounded me. One had brought out a sachet of mayonnaise, and it was obviously open but discarded with some left, and it had worked out how to squeeze the mayonnaise out. So with one foot it squeezed it down and pushed it out, so it came out of the hole, and then it was eating it with his beak, which I thought was really good. It knew exactly how to get the mayonnaise out of the pouch, so I thought that was quite clever. Anyway, there's the little basic shape of the blue tit now. So I'm now going to do a bit of mixing of wool. So we need to make the this little marking here in the face, and it depends what you're looking at. I've seen it looking brown, I've seen it looking black, I've seen it looking blue, and I've seen it looking blue-black. So I've decided to and this is the extra bit that wasn't in the kit before, that we added a little bit of black in there, so that you can mix it with the blue to make it a very, very dark, almost black blue. And mixing wool, as you know, is lay them on top of each other, tease them apart, and just keep repeating that process until you've got sort of the desired color. You can always mix more of the other into it. If you've got any carders, then you can use carders. I'm just trying to see where my mini carders are, because these are the small carders, they're not the mini carders. I've got some others that are even smaller than that. Ah, they're here. So for these small quantities, you could use these tiny little carders. Well, I found one. There is another one somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to use 2 different sizes now because it doesn't really matter. So you can also use the carders to help you mix the wool. So you basically brush it from one carder to the other, and then you can lift it off and do it again. And it will straighten out the fibers nice in one direction, just as you want it. And it does definitely mix the wool nicely for you. So that's an option, but you can also just use your fingers. These carders, they fly out of our shop as quick as we can buy them, and they're gone again. So it's a good investment according to many people. So now you're going to take a little bit of this brown, no, it's not brown, black, blue wool, and you're going to shape it into a strand because you need to put a collar around the bird. So the collar goes literally where you've attached the head, so in that neckline. And you want to have a little bit more at the back, which I'm going to add in a minute. Now, when you're making delicate little birds, it's really important that you work with very small features. You can always add more, and that you keep it 100% symmetrical. To keep things symmetrical, it's best to look at things straight on like this. And if you already see that the head is a little bit wonky or anything looks slightly out of symmetry, then put it right now because it will only get worse. So I'm just adding that little blue-black collar around the neck, and then I'm going to make it a little bit more prominent here at the back, like he's literally got a collar. Not, like a shirt collar on the back here. So it's a slightly thicker area I'm adding onto him. And that's that part done. So then you're going to do another stripe. This time you're going to go all the way around from ear to ear. So imagine he has an ear, and you need to go all the way around like in a semicircle through the center of the head. It's really important that you do this from in the middle of the head. So fasten it on. It meets that neck collar, and then felt it down in a really nice thin pattern. If you want to, you can change to your fine needle. So you're not making an indentation per se, but if it gets a little bit indented, then you can of course felt into the white wool as well, which I'm going to do now. Just felt that down a bit, and I've just changed to my fine needle, which is the green one in our color coding. And it's one of the things, whenever you step into one part of your project, you will always adjust the area around it. And then one final marking in the same wool is from the middle of that stripe going right down to his throat. So this is basically now the final marking, and really important to work in symmetry. So check your little blue tit and adjust the symmetry. If you and I think that is the secret to making the little bird more realistic, is that it's very symmetrical. It's certainly one important attribute. Right, so now he's got this line here, he's got his collar around the neck, and then he's got one coming straight down, and where this one meets, that's where the beak is going to go, and the eyes will sit on that line halfway. So that's where, and we're going to put these little details in there right now. So we're starting with the beak. So the beak sits here in that area, like that T-junction, so to speak. Now if you have an awl, use an awl. If you don't, use a needle. You just need to make a hole. That's the main thing. Make a hole, and then insert the beak into that hole there, like that. And then you're going to add a tiny dab of glue, and this I told you that we make these beaks ourselves. Now, if you've got a beak and it's a little bit on the large side, it is possible that this can happen. You could try and trim it. I'm going to try this now and see what happens. Because the silk clay never really dries completely. So, I mean, it dries completely, but it never goes completely stiff. So just cut it a little bit more shapely. There we go. And now I'm going to put it in. It's a bit better. It's a bit shorter. Right, so now I'm going to take my glue, and all I'm going to do is I add a dab of glue behind the beak without it popping out. So, and that will secure the beak into the blue tit now. So, there we go. And then I'm going to do a very similar thing for the eyes. So use an awl if you have one, or use your felting needle. Go into one eye area first. So an awl is definitely easier to use. We do sell these awls on our website, and they come in a pack of 2. This is the slightly thinner one, and then the other one is ever so slightly wider, but both of them work really well. And it is less dangerous to stab yourself at the other end. Put the eye in. Come on, floss the hole now. And what I need to do next is I need to check for symmetry, because I can tell that with it, prodding it and poking it, I'm losing my symmetry here. So once you've got the eye in position, just check that it's the right position. We can tweak the beak in a minute again, and then use the glue to add a dab behind it. We love these glue stick pens. These they're called Stick It, and we do sell them at our website as well. It's a very good quality glue, albeit just a PVA glue, so it's water based, and yeah, it's really good. Right, so there's my little bird now. The eyes are okay. The head's got a little bit wonky, so I'm just going to adjust that now. But there will be a lot of work done on the bird still, so things might yet get put out of shape again. I hope you've all got entered our giveaway competition on Facebook, so that's still up and running until the until the 8th. We draw a winner on the 8th of this month, so you can get your bronze coloured wool sweetie jar yet, with 100 grams of wool filled in the colours of bronze, because it's our bronze anniversary, 8 years, and so make sure you go onto Facebook and get your comment put down, tag 2 people, and I've been trying really hard. I've got a blue tit version of this cup. I've been hunting for it high and low, looking in my children's rooms and everywhere. It's a mystery where it's gone. I've seen it this morning, but somebody's obviously hogging it, and I don't know where it is. So I'm drinking cold tea by now out of a robin mug. So but talking of which, we have a lovely robin kit and a lovely wren kit too. So if you want to have a 3 bird collection, then you can get the other kits as well. They're very similar made, and the wren is also a free tutorial on our YouTube channel already. I've got to take a sip of tea now. Ugh, definitely cold. Right, moving on. So we're now making the tail. So there's the bird, and I'm going to get the tail ingredients at the ready. So we take a small pinch of the Royal Medium Blue, which is the blue I've used to mix the black, small pinch, and I'm also taking the same pinch of the medium blue. So these 2 blues are now going to be mixed together. Now if you do have carders, it will definitely go quicker. So these are the small carders, and then we've got another size here, which is our medium size. So mini, medium, mini, small, medium. So I'm going to try and use the medium ones, because there's quite a lot of wool there. and see how they cope with that. Oh, getting there. I'm going to take it off now and check it out. Yeah, that's not bad mix. So you can always help it a little bit afterwards as well. The main thing is that you try and align the fibers again. So if you have been mixing it and it looks a bit bobbly, then it's often that the wool fibers have sort of crisscrossed. We want to try and keep them running in one direction. So for the tail, you are going to put the wool down. I don't need as much as that, so I'm going to take half off. Now it can be a lighter and it can be a darker color mix. Again, it depends in what light you see the blue tit and if the sun's shining on or whatever. And in any case, you're going to make a 12 centimeter, you need a 12 centimeter long strand. So I'm just going to check that. Yeah, that's perfect. Lay it flat here, and then you use your medium felting needle, which is where? There. Medium felting needle, and you stab across the center so that you're making a line here. So that is now fastened onto the pad here, but I'm teasing it off. So that's the middle line, and then you stab into that folded line to neaten it up. That's going to be the tail end. So just stab that down. I'm so intrigued where these instructions are going. I have written them myself, but I've completely forgotten. And from now on, you're going to shape this tail so that it fits the template. And there are different, so at the moment, this is the template and this is the tail. So it's nothing like it, right? But what you're going to do is you're going to start, you hold onto these wispy ends, felt it down for starters to get it slowly but surely to firm up. And then you stab into the sides, so it's slightly tapered towards where it attaches. So this is a consistent, just stabbing away and constantly checking against the template to get that shape going. And if you have got a 5 needle felting tool like the clover tool, you can use that to help you flatten the shape. Now it's a little bit short at the moment and quite a lot too broad. So to make it longer, I'm going to tuck it now. Give it a good old tuck. I'm not teasing it apart. So that's made it slightly longer. And now I've got to neaten up the edges. And there is a little dent in there as well. So that's sort of showing some of the details of the feathers, the individual tail feathers. So there's one little dip in there, and still felting it down. And I'm using my medium needle, but I'm going to change to my fine now because I want more of the surface to be felted and less of the fibers to be pushed through to my felting mat, because every time they get pushed through I've got to felt them down again when I tease off the shape. And I'm going to check in a minute how I'm doing against the template. I genuinely cannot wait to bring to you the I have no idea what that noise was. The new edging tool that we are bringing out soon. But I will just show you. Can't buy this yet, but when you can, you'll love it. So with the edging tool, you can literally felt into the sides without getting your fingers in the way. And you can see what you're doing as well because it's see-through. And I think it's going to be so good. Why did that computer just make a funny noise? No idea. Anyway, nothing. No alarm bells are going up, so it's all good. And so the new edging tool, as soon as it's out, I promise you I will let you know. Because it is really an amazing tool to get the edges of flat shapes completely smoothed down and still shaping it as you're doing it. So I feel like it needs to be a little bit more narrow at the end here. I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do a good job here, so I'm not trying to rush it. So I'm hoping I will not overrun too much. So there's the tail now. It is still a little bit wide, so I can do more of that stabbing. Now, because you won't have this edging tool, I'm not going to use it now. But once you have got it, you will not want to use anything else. And I think the main feature is that it's see-through, so it's really good to use. Some people hold this just like that and stab. I find that too scary. Just stab myself. Some people do it. I know. Some people do. So anyway, I'm gonna be happy with that tail now. I can still lengthen it a little bit and slim it out by pulling at it, and then I've got to attach it to the bird. So the reason why we keep these wispy ends unfelted is so that it can easily go onto the back of the bird. And I'm going to do this now by opening up these wispy ends like that, and then I'm literally going to put it on the bird here. So the tail can be further down or it can be further up, whichever way you want. I'm just going to felt this down a bit. This is quite fluffy, this back end here, and I don't need it to be a tail in itself already, because I've just made the tail. There, that's better. Yeah, that's better. So attaching the tail is one of those moments where you've got to really be very, very thorough with symmetry again, because you're going to stab these fibers in. I'm going to go back to my medium needle. Stab these fibers in, but you also need to make sure that the tail is actually in the middle of the bird and not to one side. So don't worry too much about the wool spilling out, because all of that bird is going to be covered with other wool. Just get the tail on and then adjust it if needed. So the tail is on at the moment, and on the templates it is, because we've got the final finished bird template here, and so the tail sort of sticks out at the back, if you can see. Goes straight out at the back. So it's not like a wren tail that sticks up, it sticks out at the back. And I've got a bit of a gap here, so I've got to bridge that in a minute by adding more wool. But we've got to integrate the rest of the tail into the body anyway, so there will be a lot of added fibre going on then next. So let's see, that's the tail. We're actually going to the wings first. Now you need a similar mix of wool as you did with the tail. I'm just going to mix another little patch. So we've got two patches of same quantity of pinches, one for each wing, there and there. And on here you're now going to draw the wing shape onto it. Now if you have this set of instructions and you have the templates, you could cut out the template for the wing, which is this one here, sorry, this one. You could cut it out, put it on top of the wool and stab around it. I'm going to do this freehand. Okay. So I'm just stabbing the outline of the tail onto there, like that. So that's the outline. And now I'm folding the wispy fibers on the outside inward. And you need to keep this really nice and thin. This doesn't need to be a fat wing. It's going to be a nice thin wing. And once you've felted it down so far, you do have to peel it off your felting mat, because you don't want to fasten it on. Now mine is really thin here, so I'm going to add a tiny little bit of my wool mix on top just to strengthen it a little bit. So if you've got this is why it's better to have less wool on there, because you can always add more than have too much on there, and then you've got to felt it down massively, and then it might be completely out of proportion of your bird. And again, as I said before, if you have a multi-tool, it's a good time to bring that out to get the wing shape felted down quickly. Remember, this clover tool is the only tool that works with our earth-friendly felting mat, which I'm using here. I've just covered it with felt. So underneath is our earth-friendly felting mat here. I've got the firm part at the bottom and the soft part at the top today. And if you, once you get your edging tool, haha, it works with that too, because you can move it around and makes a really nice crisp edge. But you haven't got that yet, so unless you're using something else. I think some people use cardboard, which of course is good, but you can't see where the needle is going inside that edging tool, so it's a bit hit or miss. In many ways you're making almost like a mini version of a bird shape in profile with doing the wings. So I'm teasing you now using this tool, aren't I? It's just so good. Okay, that's one wing, and then you repeat it for the other wing. So lay that out, and then maybe do it that way, and then draw the wing shape onto the flat laid out wool. Fold the outside inwards, and this time you do have a template right in front of you because you've made the first wing. So you're trying to aim for that same size as the first one. Lift it off as soon as you've got the shape. Check it out. If you need to add a little bit more wool, do it now. You can do it later as well, of course. And then just felt this down a little bit more to felt it together and make a very thin little felt shape of a wing. So if you need to make it shorter, go at a shallow angle and stab it down. So wherever the reduction takes place is where you need to stab, and the direction of your needle will also inform the direction of the shrinkage. So if you just stab straight into it, it just makes it thinner, also fastens it into, I'm going to use my edging tool again. I genuinely love this. So I need to just make this a little bit shorter, this wing, so I'm shaping it around the broader part a little bit, and then use it on here as well. I promise you, as soon as we can list it, I will let you know. It's a total lifesaver if you need to make flat shapes like ears, wings, tails, whatever. I love it. Flower petals, all of it. There. Right, I've got two roughly the same. There we go. That will do. And now I've got to attach that to the bird. So I do this here on one side. So the wing is slightly sticking out along the tail here. And I'm going to stab that straight in to the body here. Okay. I haven't checked into the chat for a while, so I'm going to do that in a minute. Remember to work in symmetry. So check it from all directions before you fasten it on. If you want to make even a more realistic blue tit, then study a proper photo. You've got all the colors in our kit to do that. You can really excel yourself in doing more mixing and more detail, feathery detail, and all the rest of it. So remember, our kit is aimed towards people who want to achieve something that's looks potentially unachievable, and with this little blue tit you can certainly do that. So I've got one wing on this side and one wing on the other side. This is what it looks from the top. I'm looking at, if you look at it from the front, it looks pretty symmetrical to me. So far so good. From the top it does as well, so do check it out from all directions, and don't worry about if the colouring at the moment really isn't right, because we're getting to that. I will just check into the chat and see what's happening here. Oh, will the Advent Project and the Hula Mouse be available this month? So the Advent Project we've got due to launch at the end of this month. So yes, that's... Oh, sorry, getting distracted here. Yes, so that will be available. The Hula Mouse, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet because it's going to be a workshop. And depending on if I've got enough hula skirt material left, we might do something with that. So just bear with me on that one. So Carol says 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. So the sorrow one, I think that's the bit that concerns me. If I only see one, I've got to try and find a second one, otherwise I feel sorrow. And I want to feel joy. I don't know why I need to see it for a girl or for a boy. Silver would be good. Gold would also be good. And 7 for secret never to be told. Well, I think we've got all those we all carry those. One day we should have a tell us a secret, like a really big secret that you've never told anybody else, and we then we all know it. It's no longer a secret. There are no magpies here in the US, but I've seen lots of magpies when I was a kid in the Ukraine. Oh yes, I think it is a European bird. Colette was writing it too about what the magpies mean, and Jane did. Oh, you're all so kind. You obviously listen. Colette says, I loved magpies as a child, used to sing it all the time, even put milk bottle tops on the washing line to make them come. Oh my god, I'm showing my age. Oh no, there's which bit? The milk bottle tops, they still exist, milk bottle tops. So I love, by the way, talking about magpies, I love the magpie and Robin. If you haven't watched Robin yet, Netflix, right? This is an Aardman animation, all with needle felted creatures, and you can make the Robin from our Robin kit that we've designed under license with Aardman. But the magpie in the Robin film is absolutely, it's hilarious. I love him to bits. It would be fun to needle felt a magpie. They're such cheeky birds. Ooh, 10 for a bird you must not miss. 10 for a bird you must not miss. Okay, I don't know what that is about, but I'm sure somebody will enlighten me. This is the problem, me reading the comments randomly in and out. So Pauline used to have a pet crow called Jimmy. Oh, I've never seen a magpie, says Sherry. The American magpie is located in the northwestern part of the US. Ah, okay. Sherry said, my dad told me that when he was a boy going to school, there was another boy, had a pet crow. It would sit on top of the building saying bad words while the kids were on the playground. Can crows talk then? I thought it was jackdaws, or maybe they're American crows. Oh, thank you, Terry. She says, he... the Makerss for all, thank you for the Makerss. So happy to be able to be part of this group. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so kind. The edging tool is amazing. Brilliant tool idea, so simple but so effective. I agree. Can't wait for the holders to come out. I use paper coasters like you would set your drink on, but to be able to see what you're doing is very cool. Yeah, this is it. This is the secret about it. Or not the secret, but this is the good thing about it. Will the Advent Project have answered that? Often when you see one magpie, it's because the mate is on the nest. When I see one, I always shout, go find your mate, just to see a second one, so it's not sorrow. Richard E. Grant is the voice. He's hilarious. Absolutely, the magpie voice in the Robin film is Richard E. Grant. It is the best. You must watch that film. It's so good. Right, I'm cracking on with the little blue tit here. As time is pushing on, it's nearly the end and I haven't finished. I do apologize, but I will speed it up a bit now. So you now are adding more of the blue mix color on top of the bird. So this is sort of creating the transition between the wing and the body. So I'm mixing this quickly now, adding this to the top here, felting that down into that wing join and the top of the body. I'm actually going to use my fine needle now because my little blue tit is already quite firmly felted. So if I use the medium needle, it will shrink too much. I don't want that. So you're going to put, I think especially if you've got a bit of a weak tail connection, you can certainly stabilize that now by stabbing more wool into this area here, which is what happened to my little blue tit. Stabbing that on. I've been doing lots of planning over the last 2 days of what the membership benefits will be to our new subscription. That's going to be called the Makerss Flock, and I want to have a whole year worth of benefits lined up for you, so that when you're ready, or when we're ready to offer it to you, you know exactly what you're signing up for. And it's going to be good. I can give you the heads up that I'm going to do a lot more Zoom tutorials. So that's something that people have asked for, and I will be doing that. A lot more tutorials so that people who aren't local or can't get to our workshop to come to workshops, they will benefit from that too. So I've got quite a few projects lined up, including I know that people come to our retreat to do it in July, but I will be doing the jointed vintage bear as a Zoom tutorial, so look forward to that, and others as well. There's some new projects that are coming out that I am planning to do as a Zoom tutorial as well. Right, talking and working at the same time. Now we're going to make a new wool mix, and we're using the yellow and the green. Blue Tit have got this Blue Tits have these amazing colours of actually all the colours that make, with the blue and the green that, with the blue and the yellow they have, that actually makes green. So it's almost like the bird's mixed its own colours. And that green needs to now sit on top of the bird, but it's more like it needs to be quite a good mixed wool, because you want to almost have it look like a feathery look now. So the wool fibers need to be spread out from how you expect the feathers to run as well. So we're going from this collared bit here, felting the wool down towards, and it slightly overlaps the wings as well. So the feathers that are on the bird has got the top of the wings has got that same colour, and then just felt it down onto the bird here, so that you're also stabbing the needle in that direction of how the feathers would naturally run, like this. And add a little bit more. I want to make that wing a bit smaller now. It's quite big. I didn't measure it against the template, did I? Just made up my own version. So add a little bit here on top of the wing as well. Just a wispy, thin dusting. And do that on the other side as well. So it needs to be put down like the feathers run. There we go. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of blue back onto the top, and that is the lighter blue, and that is actually sitting between the collar. I'm shortening this a lot because I want it to be running that way, and that is sitting between the collar and the green that you've just mixed, that green mix. So there's another layer of feathers that's running from the neck towards the tail, and as long as you keep it symmetrical and wispy so that it looks feathery, you can't really go wrong, because every blue tit will have ever such slightly markings. Just like with anything, they all look the same. You think they all look the same because they have, generally speaking, the same principles of markings, but they're all also slightly individually different. And then I'm going to add the bulk of the color that needs to go on its tummy, which is yellow. Such a striking color, such a striking colored bird. And it literally needs to have all of its chest now covered in that yellow. So just going to go back to the medium needle whilst I tuck it down. So make sure the wool again runs in the direction of the feathers. Don't cover up the little collar that you've put on earlier, and just cover all of that chest in yellow. Keep the line between the wings crisp. But if the wool looks a little bit fuzzy around the wings, that's fine, because that feathery tummy is actually really, it looks ever so soft when you look at the bird. Sometimes little feathers are sticking out. And then you do this all the way back to the tail. So there's another opportunity to shape your bird. If you need to make that tummy a little bit rounder, you can do this now too. And you can cover up the blue that's spilled into the bird from the tail as well. And again, just allow the wool fibers to sort of be quite wispy, melting into each other, because there's not necessarily that clear line, certainly at that part of the bird. So just doing the other side the same. And cover that completely. And in a minute I'm going to go over it with my fine needle. I did do a little bit of demoing of this when I was on Sewing Street. By the way, I'm back on Sewing Street on the 20th. And I should also tell you that I haven't got anything that I can show you what's happening next week. But I can tell you that next week we're doing the seashell fairies together from the fairy box. And then the week after that we're doing the surprise box make along, the last one of our surprise boxes, as we are pausing the subscription. And that's going to be a narwhal. And then the week after that, we're doing the Hessian bunting, which is the free tutorial on the back of our printout newsletter this month, but it's also a free tutorial on our website. So I can show you the fairies, and I can show you the bunting because it's right behind me as I'm here. But the narwhal I have to share with you in another picture at another time. But it is will all be made from the surprise box, so that's all happening this month. And then next month the schedule will be slightly different, because I'm shaking things up a little bit, and I want to catch up with tutorials that we need to renew on our website. There's a lot of older tutorials that need a bit of a revamp, where we're using materials and tools that we don't even have anymore. There's quite a lot are still using foam mats, and we haven't used them in over 3 years. So that just tells you how old they are. Right, there's the little bird with its little yellow chest. And then they have this really strange marking. And you need to, so for this, I think it's the darker blue. They have this tiny little, almost like a little arrow, just here on the chest. Quite strange. Yeah. I think I missed that the blue tit needs a little blue cap still, so I'm going to put that on him now. He's a solid little bird, literally very, very solidly felted down. So he's not bald like that. We need to put a little blue cap on his head. I'm shortening the fibers as I'm mixing it up a bit, so that I don't have too long fibers that are going on there. So a little blue cap that just sits on top of his head, like he's got a little wig on. And felt that down. And then the only thing, and I will do the legs. There is a tutorial of how to do the legs, but I will do the legs. I promised you to do them, and I will do them. And then the only other marking that I haven't done is just little markings here along the wing. So for this you need a bit of the white leftover wool, and that goes here onto the side of the wing. So I do one side so that I can show you, and then you know how it's done. Just a little white line that is slightly curved. It goes along the wing here. And then there's another couple of tiny little lines that sit on the wing there. Like that. So let's put that on there. So I'm using my fine needle, and it's literally, you don't want to felt the wing on, so you might have to tease it off again. But you're literally just adding a couple of curved lines here onto the tip of the wing, using the minutest amount of wool. There goes another. You can also rest it on your felting mat like that, and then felt it on. I mean, to be perfectly honest, this could also be added before you add the wing on. But that's not what it says in the instructions, but it could very well be done that way. So I show you this side. So the bird now has got this little markings on this side complete. It's got this little funny patch here on the chest. And I will show you now how to do the legs. Before I do this, I just want to tell you a little bit, talking about birds. You can actually do a beautiful little cold tit. It's way better than what I'm doing here, which is the cold tit, that cold tit masterclass that's run by Agnes. And I've just got to go and get some masking tape or washi tape so that I can use this for the bird legs. But you can read the details for the cold tit workshop there. It is an exquisite little bird. If you've done the robin with her, it will be a perfect companion for the little robin that she ran as a workshop. Gosh, in January, I think. It is really, really an amazing workshop that teaches you so much. It is only face-to-face, I'm afraid. Yeah, you have to come to us in person. But it's well worth it. So if you're interested in that, you can go onto our website and book the workshop directly there, or send us a message if you prefer us to do that for you. So just very briefly, but still hopefully comprehensively. So the bird legs are just straight black legs like this. Okay, now birds have got their knees pointing the opposite direction to humans, so they point back rather than forward. So you have to bend the legs in sort of by a little bit. Now that means that the leg will come out straight off the bird, but you have the leg obviously pointing inside the bird. So you will need to make a hole in that direction. Oh dear, this is going to go all the way through, just to make a nice big hole. So there's the hole, and then I'm going to sink the bird leg into it, right? So now the bird leg comes out in the right direction, right? But it's actually supporting the bird going forward. So the center of gravity, therefore, is caught well because the leg is pointing forwards. And this is actually, I think this is how they have a good center of gravity, because their knees are pointing the other way. And then you do the same on the other side. So then you insert the leg there too. Now the problem with these legs is that they swivel. It's a pain. It's really a pain. So what I do is, you could shorten them already if you wanted to. So you can either glue them in first and then shorten them, or you shorten them already. If you want to shorten them, you do need some good quality pliers. These are the little mini pliers that we sell. And you just clip the toes shorter on all of the feet, on both feet. Like this. And You can do this while it's outside the bird as well. They don't have to be inside the bird. And then I also need to do the toe at the back. And there we go. Right, that's the toes clipped, okay? So what you need to do next is you can fasten these legs together with a little bit of tape. I'm using washi tape here now. Love washi tape. Just put the feet together so they don't swivel anymore. Now washi tape is a little bit like masking tape. It's really easy to take it off, but it stays in place whilst you are whilst you need to glue the bird legs in. So now check that your bird is standing. It is standing, okay? So I'll just show you this in the front camera. So this is the trick, is about putting the toes together so they don't swivel. Okay, so you've got your little bird standing. Okay, so then whilst the legs are together, you're going to squirt a lot of glue into that hole where the legs are in. And then all I can say is, and I say it with a heartfelt feeling, be patient. Because this is where it fails me. I'm always too impatient to wait for this glue to dry. However, if you have been patient and you've waited for this to dry until it's totally dry, you will end up with legs that are absolutely solid. They don't swivel, your bird stands comfortably and all the rest of it. So yes, you can move them, but they're not moving in, where you don't want them to move. And then all you need to do is add a tiny little bit of, when the glue disappears, because it's clear drying glue, just give your bird little bloomers and cover up that join. I'm actually sort of noticing how I'm stabbing into the glue, so just go around it, because it's really firmed it up. And then this part here where the leg comes out of the body is very covered up. These are slightly longer, the legs. You can have them shorter or longer, it's up to you. But when they're like this, don't touch it, okay? That's the big message I've got for you. And it might take a couple of hours, whatever you're doing, don't touch that part whilst it's drying. Yeah, just leave it alone. Stand the bird up and just leave it alone. Leave it alone, all alone. Don't touch it, okay? And then you'll be fine. So it's not actually as hard as you think it is, as long as you are patient and as long as you put the toes together. And then once the glue is fully dried, you can just take the masking tape off and you're all good again. Right, just a very quick check-in into the chat, and then I'll leave you alone because we are 15 minutes longer than... Terry is actually Teresa, but she goes by Terry. I like Terry. I don't know the time yet on Sewing Street, Gina, but it will be in the morning. I haven't been given a time yet. I'll ask Steffi to let us know the times. I will let you know the times, I promise you. It's another 2 weeks. So love birdie bloomers. Oh, nice. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's all from me. I'm just gonna have a very quick. My mum always salutes magpies and says good morning, afternoon, evening, Mr. and Mrs. Magpie. Very odd superstition. So you see, this is what I mean. Magpies just used to be magpies, and now they've become something very different. To counteract the sadness of seeing one magpie, you are supposed to say, hello, Mr. Magpie, how's your mate? Aha! Oh my god, this is getting way too complicated for me. I think I'm just going to go back to magpies. Just being magpies, however many there are. Laura says, my grandmother was superstitious, and on a walk with grandma and dad, we saw one magpie. Grandma got upset and we had to look for another. We found one and I asked, how do we know it's not the same one? Dad told me to shut up, be quiet. Oh dear. Oh, I had a canary called Tweety Pie. Oh, that's a nice name, Diane. I think I've pretty much kept up with the chat, so I will put all the comments. It will put into the comments the products that I've mentioned. So if you except for the edging tool, because that doesn't exist on our site yet, but It will be soon. It will soon. And I hope that you all have a lovely end of the evening, remainder of the evening. If you're watching this anytime in the future on YouTube, then thank you very much for watching. And thank you for giving us the thumbs up. Thank you for sending us stars. I know some of you have sent us stars here on Facebook. We much appreciate it. And I'll just go now, basically. So take care, everybody. And I see you very soon.